Hey, free the block, free the bros, free your mind, free your soul, free yourself, free your goals. Are we free? I say no. Free my mama, free my sister, free my cousin, let them go till we free. I'm screaming freedom, 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 freedom. Free the block, free my kids, free young thug, free the top, free my fam, we been down, free my dad, free his past, freedom cops, free from guilt, free from shame, free from pride, free from sin, free from pain, free from fate, free from lame. I say freedom, freedom, freedom. They say the truth, was that you? Free, tell them to look at me. I'm in that water, don't rescue me. Leaving that country like refugees. I throw the right like I'm my lead. Nina Simone got blood on me. Step on my land, I bet you see. Swerving the coupe, no SUV. Mama begging the police, don't take my son away from me. Free my brothers never feeling freedom if they never make it to the major leagues. Free my people from a 9 to 5. We don't want your job, get away from me. Major labels acting like it's slavery. I say freedom on it if they wanna leave. Free my people in prosperity. Free the truth, let them really see. Free the love and celebrities. Free from hate and popularity. Free my people from comparison. Free my people from their arrogance. Free my people from confusion. Let peace fall like an avalanche. Free my people in the streets. Free my people in the church. Free my people doing bad. Free my people doing worse. Free my people go to court today. Free the vision, let them see. Free my people from depression and the fear. Free the people, free me. Freedom, 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 freedom. Trey skies on the beat. Okay. In the worst position, feel alone, no one you can trust. Post-traumatic stress, he depressed, plus he battled lust. Since a youngin', knew that he was damaged, living in a rush. Troubled child, they know we live wild. Who gon' pray for us? We won't be like them. It's ironic, they won't be like us. They got better shoes, they get picked up and dropped off at school. Better food, houses look way bigger than the projects do. Better views, everything much prettier in Malibu. All we got is rest in peace teased by elementary. They show us more than a lot, cause they know all we have is but a dream. But it's harder to achieve when your wants is your needs. And the police tell you freeze, and you innocent in need. Someone set me free. Free my enemies. Rest in peace to Sonya Massive. Murder by police. Feeling like I'm George Floyd. Yelling I can't breathe. Yelling I can't breathe. Yelling I can't. Hey, how can your man out be a cop? It was premeditated before he shot. He see a brown boy, he in shock. Bullets go whack, whack. It's a bop. Getting our feelings when they do the killings, but we do the same thing on the block, repeating the same thing. We bots. Look how the plot twist like a lock. They rapping the same things on the songs. They pushing the same thing on the media. All of the kids watching every move and everything you do. They repeating and pushing the same things in the movies, pushing whatever that thing sell, pushing the same things in the streets and putting us all in the same jail. Free the block, free the bros, free your mind, free your soul, free yourself, free your goals. Are we free? I say no. Free my mama, free my sister, free my cousin, let them go till we free. I'm screaming freedom, 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 freedom.
Yes, indeed, Chosen Elect family. We are back yet again on another journey of truth in life where we utilize the power of truth, which is the word of the Most High, to be set free completely from the bondage of deception. And I had to introduce this video with none other than the brother Star Ringo, local artist who's pushing a very positive message and is on the rise. Check him out. That's StarRingo, Star Ringo. Continue to do your thing. Continue to push positive message of truth and healing. And so I don't see anyone in a live stream, but nonetheless, I just wanted to address a topic real quick, and that is the topic of the attacks we have received throughout the years, throughout the months, throughout the weeks, and what you need to know about the perpetrators behind it. Our attackers are clinical psychopaths possessed by monitoring spirits. And so if you're new to this channel, I go by the name of MTAC, which stands for More Than a Conqueror. And I try to create a catalog of documentations here in various formats to present to you the concept that we live in a cesspool society. In this society or this pool, this social pool, there's good and evil personalities. We would be foolish to believe that everyone around us are good people. And oftentimes we like to think the best of others. And I'm not saying that that is a bad thing, it's not. But the reality is that there are people in this world that live to make your life difficult. And you need to be aware of that and you need to be prepared for that. Even the scriptures in the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, tell us to put on the entire armor. Why do we need armor? Because the world is a war zone, um, full of enemies that would like to do nothing more than kill, steal, and destroy the abundant life that the Messiah have brought from heaven for us to live, and so forth. And so, um, going to try to share this community post. If you can see it, there's a psychopathic system that exists here in the United States of America, and very few people are aware of this. Well, I'll take that back. If you're not aware after the release of the Epstein files, I'm not sure how to uh, further your enlightenment process from there. You should be well aware that we live in a corrupt system, right? And so, in this corrupt system, uh, there are perpetrators, there are psychopathic, abusive people ensconced in the very fabrics that were designed to um, protect us, to serve us, etc. And they conduct counterintelligence or COINTELPRO programs. If you're not familiar with the counterintelligence program, I suggest you Google it. Just type in the COINTELPRO. That's COINTEL hyphen PRO. And that program was deemed unconstitutional after the congressional court hearings in the 1970s. Well, recently, we have had Senator Jim Jordan last year condemn the resurfacing of the counterintelligence program that they refer to as the weaponization of DOJ. And most currently, we're dealing with the DOJ cover up of the Epstein perpetrators, people involved in very heinous acts that I will not list due to time. But if you're reading along and you're able to see the uh, community informatory that I've passed out for years, it says psychological warfare operations and deceptions, because the enemy that we're against is not carnal. The weapons of our warfare aren't even carnal, because our battle is spiritual. But this enemy, this spiritual entity that is operating through these psychopathic, overly obsessive people, unhealthy obsessed people, operates through deceit. The scripture says he was a deceiver from the beginning. So psychological warfare, that is warring against your mind. along with electromagnetic anti-personal assaults. Electromagnetic because we live in the age of technology and science. So with the advancement of technology and science, those mechanisms are definitely being utilized and weaponized against potential victims or victims at large. They're being run right here in the United States of America by government agencies or people affiliated with government agencies and law enforcement. Some of these agencies include, but are not limited to, FBI, DHS, which is the Department of Homeland Security, CIA, NSA, Department of Defense, and of course the Department of Justice. If you or someone you know is participating in these so-called national security, community policing programs that are destroying the lives of everyday citizens, you are potentially an accomplice to murdering. This is a slow kill torture program. And of course, the sources are whistleblowers, people from inside the system, the machine, right? So we aren't conspiracy theorists over here. These are inside sources that allow us to collage this information. These agencies are spreading lies because they're of their father, which is the devil, who's the father of lies. Once again, slander, libel, defamation about outstanding community members. This is everything that happened, if you're a believer, to the Messiah. And on the straight and narrow path, as we follow him, if they hated him first, who are we? They're going to hate us also, right? They're going to hate us without a cause, the same way that they hated him without a cause. They used the court systems against the Messiah back then, even so much so that it went to the Supreme Court. And Pontius Pilate, if I recall correct, who was like a Supreme Court justice overseeing, at the highest federal level of the ancient Roman period construct, found him not guilty and said, I wash my hands because there's nothing to condemn this man for. So people will hate you without a cause. I have no criminal background. I have no misdemeanors, no felonies, none of that. Yet and still, I've been targeted by the very subject that we're discussing, COINTELPRO, extrajudicial targeting, right, by a corrupt system. And so defamation is spread because the enemy have to kill your name. It's the exact same way, whether it's on a personal level or on an international level. It's the exact same mechanism, and it has the exact same characteristics. Before war began, the media is weaponized as a tool to slander, to defame the target, whatever nation that they decide to target. Before war, they're going to make them appear to be the worst thing since unsliced bread, right? And babies were getting choked. This is a classical tactic used by narcissistic cluster B clinical psychopaths. And so I mentioned that the system was corrupt, which means that they are obtaining wrongful, illegitimate court authorizations. And many of you who's been confronted by these agents, whether they're ICE agents, Department of Homeland Security agents, federal agents of the Bureau, etc. They have court authorizations. What you don't know is they're from corrupt judges. These are people who's been compromised. What do I mean compromised? They perhaps they're on Epstein files, you know what I mean, that have been redacted or have not been released, the 3 million plus files that are being withheld, and so forth. So many of these are also members of secret societies and occult, which they esteem their loyalty to over their sworn oaths of service to the American people. And this is another reason there was an article, I'm hoping I can bring it up or pull it up, where the UK actually just passed a legislation a couple of maybe 2 months ago saying that anyone associated with secret societies and have oaths outside of their oaths to law enforcement or public service have got to publicly announce it. And I think that's a big move forward for the UK. They understand that we're in the end times and they don't want to be on the wrong side. Somebody in there is moving in the right direction. This is also why Prince Andrew, once he was found guilty of the heinous psychopathic attacks associated with those files, he was arrested for that. And I want to applaud those who made that possible. So these are corrupt judges, and the reason why they're able to obtain these court authorization is because they want to the hidden agenda. Psychopaths always have hidden agendas, and what they want to do is they want to convince business, schools, libraries, others that could be churches, family, in other institutes that we are under federal investigation as a suspected terrorist, extremist, mentally unstable, prostitute, pedophile, or any other unsavory label. Basically, projection. Everything they are, they project onto us as if we're them and they're us. They want to do what some have come to refer to as destiny swap. You know what I mean? They date this all the way back to the scapegoat. I'm no one's scapegoat. You know, these programs are extrajudicial character assassination, mutilation, destructive, blacklisting, life sabotage, torture. And I've been beaten, I've been tortured, I've been drugged, I've been poisoned, I've been publicly ridiculed and scandalized on levels unseen. I've been threatened. I've been choked. You name it. These corrupt entities, psychopaths, have pretty much done it to me. And I don't want to relive it if I'm not reliving it in the Fifth and Sixth Amendment due process scene of court where justice can be served and restitution can be a supplemental start for recovery. And there are also murder campaigns. The devil come to kill, first of all. That's their ultimate goal, is murder. These psychopaths, they enjoy murder, whether it's man, woman, child, etc. But they want to torture you before they do it. They want to sabotage your life, and it's meant to fully destroy the lives of outstanding community activists, journalists, writers, teachers, professors, whistleblowers, and any civil-minded citizen, and so forth. And so going to try to wrap this thing up. if you've been a victim of this and you, you're asking yourself the question, how and why uh, did they choose me as a victim? It's random. You're hated without a cause. But I want you to, I'm going to share this screen so you can see how these people monitor. This is where these monitoring spirits come from, why they monitor you so much. You need to, let me remove this. And then I'm going to try to share again this page. All right. So this is where the monitoring spirits come from. These psychopaths, which are just nothing more scientific or so psycho um, social terming of demonic possession. All right. Uh, these psychopaths select their victims based on a combination of psychological traits, vulnerabilities, and nonverbal cues, often targeting those who appear trusting and emotionally vulnerable. So, if you're an empath, if you're someone who appears trusting, you want to, you're easy to trust people. You can't trust people these days. People make a living off harming and victimizing others. They're literally getting paid to victimize. Human trafficking is a real issue. If you don't know that by now, you're clueless. Epstein, worth billions off human trafficking. P. Diddy, and many others. If you trusting or emotionally vulnerable, they're the monitoring spirits that they are possessed with is observing all of this, and that's what moves them in. A long time ago, my mother told me something that I'll never forget. She said, "Stop talking so much because a demon only moves on someone if they can recognize their weakness. If they don't know what your weakness is, they'll just monitor you. And this is what we call monitoring spirits. They're looking for weakness." And I was young when my mother told me that. She said, "Stop telling people so much about yourself because a demon, a demonic spirit, an unclean spirit, is just monitoring to try to identify weakness. They're not going to move on you unless they know what your weakness is." And so if someone appear trusting or emotionally vulnerable, you're sad, you wear your heart on your sleeve, is the terminology, they're coming after you. They can tell you're easy to read, right? And so some of the key characteristics of the victims is nonverbal cues. Psychopaths are adapt to reading body language. This is why you should go get a book by, thought I had it here, but it's called Dark Psychology. It must be on the shelf. And I do apologize. I thought I had it on hand. But this book, Dark Psychology, is a must read for all targeted individuals. Why? Because hot, cold reading, NLP reading is discussed in that book. This is the weaponization of psychology. And these psychopaths, they have weaponized the ability to be able to read someone. No, they don't sympathize or empathize with you because they're sociopaths, which means, and apathetic, which means they have no feeling. If you ever seen the movie The Silence of the Lamb, they're that level of psychopathy. It puts the lotion on its skin. Psychopaths is who's targeting us. And this is reality. You know what I mean? I'm not telling you hearsay. I'm sharing my testimony. Um, you know, just remember, silence of the lamb, it puts the lotion on its skin. Psychopaths, they refer to their victims as an it. They don't see us. We know if, as human beings, meaning descendants of Christ, we have woven into our DNA and our genetic code characteristics, doing unto others as ourselves, and loving the Most High with all our heart, soul, and mind. That is woven into our DNA. This is why, with a true human being, without telling them, we automatically want to worship. We're automatically wired to worship. And this goes far back, and the enemy will weaponize and utilize that. Human beings were automatically to worship, wired to worship the Most High in our DNA. Satan's seed or offspring, on the other hand, they're atheists by nature. They are apathetic, meaning without feelings by nature. They're psychopaths by nature, meaning that they wake up premeditating harm against potential victims. Traits such as a lack of eye contact, fidgeting, and subversive posture can signal vulnerability. So watch it. Don't fidget. You look those demonic beings directly into their beady little eyeballs, and you let them know, not today, Satan. You know what I mean? I may have been a victim in the past, but I'm a victor today. You will get body slammed and suplexed right back to the pits of hell messing with me, because many of us have grown since we were first targeted, gang stalked, and attacked. Utilize your newfound strength to put these demonic bastards in their place, and their place is right in the pits of hell. You bind those spirits, you cast them out, you ignore them, you have no fellowship with their darkness, and you just keep on right on shining where your light is appreciated. Number 2, emotional traits. Individuals with strong emotional qualities such as empathy, kindness, and strong conscience often attract psychopaths. And I think this is what attracted me when I was targeted, especially on the workplace. I worked for a Fortune 500 company by the name of Schneider Intermodal. I relocated for that job and position. And one thing that they noticed about me was my empathy, my kindness, and me being consciously aware. And I think that's just part of being woke or Holy Spirit filled. You should be self-aware and situationally aware. And do excuse my accent. I am from down south, even though I try to speak as professional as possible. Truth of the matter is, I'm a country boy, from small areas going big places. Anyway, if you're self-aware, situationally aware, they are obsessed. Attraction, I believe, is too loose or too weak of a word. We need to call it what it is. This is an unhealthy obsession that they have with us, so much so that they're willing to stalk us, hack into our phones, monitor our phone conversations, pay perpetrators, Department of Homeland Security crisis actors, to infiltrate our lives in a Truman Show attempt to control us. These traits can be seen as both appealing, threatening, making such individuals prime targets. Trusting nature. Many of us, we trust too much. We can't be trusting these bastards. Let's just be honest. Trusting nature. Psychopaths tend to focus on those who are openly trusting, and who seek to find the good in others. And coming from the country and moving up to the city, when I moved to the city um, of Chicago, and I left the South to do so, I wasn't ready for the very, um, I'm not sure, I'll think of a good way to say it because I don't want to demonize the entire social construct of Chicago, but I wasn't ready for that much. It was a lot, you know what I mean? It was magnified. And so here in the South, we have something called Southern hospitality. I live in the Bible Belt area in the state of Louisiana. And yeah, we often have uh, stereotypical characteristic, and that involves trying to find the good in others. This inclination can lead to rationalizing and minimizing red flags in psychopaths' behavior, making them more susceptible to manipulation. These are master manipulators, and many of them are associated with alphabet gangs. This is the reality of it. Oh, Battle for Your Brain is in the his house. Um, I do apologize, Battle for Your Brain. I'm just now seeing all these uh, comments. And so the first one says, "Hi, MTAC, I'm back. I've been collaborating with some other TIs, and took a trip around the world. I hope your trip was successful and safe." And goes on to say, "This system is absolutely global. I got RF, that's radio frequency, and NLJD scan um, by two private contractors. It says, um, for your information, make sure you get an X account. YouTube is heavily hacked and true mute, and they mute our community to keep us from exposing the truth." Yeah, I am highly um, shadow banned on this channel. And I will definitely look into getting an X. You said an X account. I'm definitely looking to go to other platforms. It says, "Great content lately. The truth is that the majority of Americans have been simulated into this program. They've consensually connected themselves to this cybernetic grid." And what he's referring to is the nuance of neurotech science, the merger of man and machine. And this isn't sci-fi. It's not futuristic. It is very present, and it is not conspiracy. It's very factual. If you're someone who wants to know more about this, there's a book called Spirit Tech, and I don't have that with me either, but Spirit Tech is the name of the book. It's written by two neuroscience that help promote this technology. You can also look up Neuralink, or just simply Google brain to science, a brain to computer science nuance, and it will fill in the gaps. It says, "I found out that that I use microchips in my body. I think you meant to say that they use microchips in my body. Majority of Americans have connected themselves to the system, the Internet of Bodies. Humanity has transcended to a new age. This is factual. Um, they um, are occultists, Scientologists that believe that through science and technology, man must cyborg in order to avoid extinction. And they're forcing it on the masses of the people. This, once again, is not uh, any sort of conspiracy. This is factual, actual. It's happening now. As a matter of fact, Congress is getting ready to oversight a new hearing about the data centers, these massive data center fields that are popping up all over the place. Mississippi, in the greater Memphis, Tennessee area is prime target for this brain to computer interfacing and data mining of uh, consciousness. It says they implant themselves in their children. They've consensually implanted millions with BCI technology. That's brain to computer interfacing technology. Says some call this transhumanism, cybernetics, society 5.0, right? Hooking people up to the human net, the internet of things, the, um, hive mind. And I discussed this, I believe, in a previous live stream, if I'm not mistaken. It says some call this transhumanism, cybernetic, that they've basically cyborg society. Usually they mentally condition the people and numb them so that it won't be such a social and psychological shock before they actually introduce it into reality. So when you start seeing them promote these technologies in the movies, like the Justice League, and you have Cyborg, etc., or um, the MCU character Venom, where there's the merger of the cybernetic living organism and the human species living as one, separate but one. It's just them um, conditioning the minds of the people to accept what's to come. It says, I found out that I am implanted with microchips for surveillance, behavior modification, and cruel and unusual super phallus torture. I am too. They likely implanted you as well, along with themselves and their kids. This is a reality. I am a victim of these computer chips and all the BCI technology as well. Humanity is evolved to a new age, a transhuman age. We're living in a cybernetic society. Yeah, I've read that before. And it's the truth. This is why they are getting ready. They're currently crashing the dollar as we speak. And they're using the Strait of Hormuz as the cover story. But They're going to crash the physical currency and introduce cyber or cytocurrency validated by blockchain, decentralization of computerizing. So it's here. There's a parallel society, ruling class of individuals who connected themselves to the same cyber physical human system, CPHS, Internet of Bodies, IOB. Um, and I truly believe this. They've been planning, plotting, and strategizing this for years, and now they have all their people in position, and all their pieces seems to be in place. They have a few final um, things that they would like to proposition first, but we are at the door. The fourth industrial revolution is the New World Order. And so we've moved from the industrial revolution to the tech revolution, from the tech revolution to the cyber revolution and or digital age. It's here, it's upon us, and hopefully this isn't too much for anyone. It's not the direction that I was hoping to go in, but I am fluid. So I'm going to share with you guys. Hopefully, this allow you to understand a bit better what they're discussing. If I can get it to share. I do apologize. One moment. I do every time that I attempt to share information that they would like to keep secret. I have technical difficulties beyond imagination. That one's too long.
We'll go ahead and get started. So I want to welcome folks in the audience and the folks online. Welcome, the Zoomers. So it is my pleasure today to introduce our speaker. By way of background, I think most of you know this is the last talk in our series.
So this is from Virginia Tech. This is dynamic brain mapping and brain to computer interfacing. An interface is exchange of information in a dialogue there, right? So this is once again at the university level. We're not talking about conspiracy theories. We're talking about your educators, your scientists, the minds of America. This is the reality of it.
For this year in the Distinguished Public Lecture Series, but it's not the last talk, it's just the last talk for this season. We'll be starting up again in early September, and you'll see the announcements coming out soon for next year's program. So please visit our website. And this is the Maury Strauss Distinguished Public Lecture of the Fralin Biomedical Research Institute. We always, of course, like to acknowledge Mr. Maury Strauss, who has so generously endowed this lecture series. And really has done a great service, I think, for the community, supporting this lecture series and bringing these incredible speakers, not only at the Tokyo Institute of Technology, where he also stayed on and did postdoctoral training. He then came to the States and joined. That's a good number. That means people pay attention to his work, and for obvious reason. His research is focused on
student, co-workers, and I have been doing over the past, roughly speaking, about 10 years in dynamic brain mapping and the brain-computer interface. So first of all, this slide illustrates the two themes, which is relevant. First of all, we'll be starting from dynamic brain mapping or brain imaging, in the sense that understanding how human brain works. In animal, some of you probably know, and you could put an electrode in to record what a single neuron is going to firing, but that is not going to work for human, except for some of the patient, you have to go through neurosurgical treatment, then you could put the electrode to record invasively. But clearly for vast majority of human beings, that is not an option. So how to dynamically and non-invasive image what's happening inside our brain remain to be a frontier of the science, and also is very, very important for the general public. And another work of building upon our basic and the research on human brain mapping, and I would like also to show some of the recent work, is we are not just stopping at understanding how brain works. We want to control our environment just by thinking about that. All right, so I hope that I'm going to do my job to convey some of the recent research and to entertain this group at this late afternoon. So I will start with the brain mapping. This slide, as many of you would know, if you go to the hospital and they talk about imaging, MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, would be a very clear option for many, many symptoms. So MRI, particularly functional MRI. Actually, functional MRI was discovered by a couple groups simultaneously, including University of Minnesota, where I spent 14 years for my faculty work, is such a technology that can look at where the brain function, its structure is the same. But you want to see when you speak, when you listen, when you think, and when you feel, the functional MRI is going to be able to tell you at a very high spatial resolution that where in the brain and possibly how they interact to each other.
So this lecture is an old one, but in order to further the evolution of this technology, they have randomly selected victims to be guinea pigs of, in the transition of the brain to computer interfacing evolution. I just wanted to go through a few clips that would allow us to comprehend exactly what it is that we're dealing with. So here we go.
Imagine plugging your brain straight into the future. Sounds wild, right? But that's exactly what's happening in cutting-edge labs around the world, where scientists are fusing biology with technology in ways we've only seen in sci-fi. Picture this, a glowing, living brain, pulsing with data.
They said that isn't what is about to happen. They said that is what is happening. Is current. That means present day. This is happening. And I believe this video is over a year old. So let's take it from the top once again for you naysayers. Can't use conspiracy theory when it's backed by substantial evidence.
Imagine plugging your brain straight into the future. Sounds wild, right? But that's exactly what's happening in cutting-edge labs around the world, where scientists are fusing biology with technology in ways we've only seen in sci-fi. Picture this, a glowing, living brain, pulsing with data, and right at its core, a tiny microchip, no bigger than a grain of rice, seamlessly collecting and transmitting information. These neural implants are designed to boost memory, restore lost senses, and maybe even unlock abilities we haven't dreamed of yet. Let's step inside these futuristic labs for a second. Here, robotic surgery arms glide with pinpoint precision, performing operations steadier than any human hand. Surgeons guide these machines using holographic interfaces that float in midair. Think Minority Report, but real. Data streams light up in vibrant colors, tracking every heartbeat, every neuron firing, in real time. But it's not just about cool gadgets. The tech is opening up possibilities for people living with paralysis, brain injuries.
Now, they said something quite key. Think Minority Report. Now, that would just skid past most people. Minority Report, for those of you who don't know, is a movie. I mentioned earlier that Hollywood is a tool used by the CIA. It was hijacked long ago. It's been a CIA Project Mockingbird, Operation Mockingbird. You should look that up from its inception. But Hollywood created this movie called Minority Report. Is based on futuristic science, which is today's science, that allows detectives, CIA, FBI, NSA, to use BCI's brain to computer interfacing to predict future criminals based on their neurological decision making patterns and to convict them before due process even begin. As a matter of fact, it negates due process. And so this is one way that they have been unlawfully weaponizing this nano or neural technology. And this is why most of the targeted individuals seem to have false allegation of criminality associated with their targeting as well, because it's training, basically a training simulation where they're training their scientists, their techs, their operatives, etc., on how to utilize this futuristic technology that's going to be implemented very soon into the social construct. It's going to become a normality. I remember before social media was a thing. Now it's part of our everyday life. I remember before the cell phone was even a thing. Now it's part of our everyday social life. It's most people had to be millionaires and very rich, prominent people to have car phones and things of that nature back in the 80s, etc. Now it's coming. So this technology is about to be coming, and we need to be conscious and aware of it. Remember, wise people are self-aware and situationally aware, not out of fear, but out of faith. And so, Minority Report, here we go. Hopefully you guys can hear me, and I'll get to the comments in a second.
That float in midair. Think Minority Report, but real. Data streams light up in vibrant colors, tracking every heartbeat, every neuron firing, in real time. But it's not just about cool gadgets. The tech is opening up possibilities for people living with paralysis, brain injuries, or neurodegenerative diseases. Imagine a world where someone can control a computer, or even a robotic arm, just by thinking about it. That future is closer than you think. Of course, there are big questions: privacy, security, and the ethics of merging man and machine. But one thing's for sure. The frontier of brain tech is unfolding faster than ever, and the potential is enormous. So, what would you do if you could upgrade your mind? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your wildest ideas. And hey, the future's only getting closer. Stay curious.
The future isn't getting closer, the future is now. This technology exists. It has been non-consensually utilized and weaponized against the masses of the people. And so, yeah, in the informative that I was sharing earlier, or the community warning, I advise you to go back and read the first paragraph, which talks about the non-consensual weapons testings and neuro experimentation. This is the technology that we are referring to. Did want to take this live stream in this direction nonetheless, since we're here. It lines up very well because the people behind this science are clinical psychopaths. They're no longer just physically observing us, but they are consciously observing us. The book that I told you to get from Barnes and Noble, entitled Spirit Tech, is subtitled The Hacking of Consciousness, the hacking of the conscious mind. They're able to hack into people's brain. This is why the scripture tells us to put on the helmet of salvation, because in today's age, your privacy of thought is no longer an option. At will, they are hacking people's thoughts, etc. It says I got disconnected, but I'm back. Welcome back. I'm about to end this live stream. It says, yeah, so the biodigital convergence has already happened decades ago. Public information is bold, SHIT, for rated G purposes. And that's exactly what it is. They decided to deploy BCI, brain to computer interfacing, globally, simulate the worthy traffic, control the unworthy. That's exactly what it is. And may I just turn your attention to this. Those behind the technology have high IQs, low EQs, clinical psychopaths. This is why the artificial intelligence ethics bill is such a major factor. We should be contacting the state senate, et cetera, to petition our egregence of this thing. This is something that is very grievous. Says exactly, truth is decades ahead of the public information. The truth is centuries ahead of the public information here in the United States of America. People are entertained and not educated, or should I say informed? I hate the word education. This parallel society, cyborg, homo board, nexus, and that's supercomputer terminology, where they're trans-dimensionally interacting with who knows what, demonic spiritual realms and things of that nature. Siphon rules and celebrate their greatness. A parallel society has started the Great Reset. Absolutely. And these are very psychopathic, occultist, Scientologist that is promoting what we're discussing. This is no secret. This is why they're putting it all out in the opening with the Epstein files, et cetera, et cetera. They're letting the truth come out slowly but surely. This is how they live. It's no conscious condemnation or any of that with these people. And so just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully you begin to understand what we're dealing with here. All right, here we go.
Family and strangers, and my family used to rape me, make me abort the babies I had.
It would be hard to imagine more misery and suffering than what Teresa says she's had to endure.
And us kids would be made to do things with the adults and the animals, and then a sacrifice would happen.
The sacrifice, were these animal sacrifices?
Animals and people.
On what scale do you think this was happening?
Enormous, far beyond what we've ever heard of here before.
Teresa's mother, Bridget.
You're talking about mass murder?
Yes, on a scale that this country's never heard of before. Like the old people's homes now, only there's a...
For the first time, Teresa is learning what it's like to live with love instead of fear.
Pretty though.
In this quiet English village, with the help of her mother, she's slowly repairing her broken life. Teresa is now 15, but at the age of 2, she was left in the care of this woman, the grandma she called Nan. And that, she says, is when her torment started.
Who was the leader? Who was the boss of the gang, of the cult?
At home it was my nan.
Your Nan made you have sex with animals?
Yeah. Like goats and donkeys.
How many men or how many people would have sex with you?
What, at one time?
Yes.
But everyone who was there, which must have been about 20, from 10 to 20 people. If it was a big ceremony, it used to be 30.
What would your grandma be doing when these men were forcing themselves on you?
Usually laughing or smiling or having sex with another man or other men.
A chronicle of debauchery and depravity so horrific it's hard to believe. You have to ask yourself, could Teresa be just making it up?
No. I know what's true and what's not. No, I know what I saw.
Children don't make up elaborate lies that this would have to be if it was a lie, which I know it is not. It isn't.
This couldn't be a terrible dream, a nightmare that you're reliving?
No. It's no dream. It's a nightmare, but it's not one you can wake up from. It's there all the time.
This really happened? You're quite sure of that?
Yeah.
If you're finding this hard to believe, so did I at first. But then there are the medical reports, evidence of sustained sexual abuse. And there's this, a statement prepared for 60 Minutes by Teresa's psychiatrist. It says, in my opinion, Teresa's account is not the product of a psychotic illness, nor the figment of a fertile imagination. I believe her to be telling the truth.
I know what's true and what's not.
We also took Teresa's story to this man, therapist Ray Wire. He reads a transcript of our interview and listens to her voice.
It's no dream.
Few people, if any, in Britain have counselled as many victims of satanic abuse or Satanists themselves as Ray Wire has. if there is an expert on satanic cults, it would have to be him.
Do you believe Teresa's story?
I believe Teresa's story. It's exactly the same story as I've heard from men who says they've done it.
You've dealt with other cases like hers?
Yes.
21 cases like hers, he says, in the past 2 years alone.
Themes like they were put in boxes with spiders and worms, where they were trapped in fear, where there was a high use of excrement and urine, where there was talk of human sacrifice.
Take just one of those rituals, putting children in boxes with spiders and worms. Now, listen to what Teresa told her mother.
And they had a coffin-like box that children were put in with spiders and snakes and the lid shut and left in there. I would have come out deranged. I could not have coped with that mentally at all.
You have evidence to back up stories like Teresa's, that this
Yes.
is really happening?
Well, we have that age of child, 6, 5, and 4, giving information that ties up with Teresa. How do those children know? How do those children able to describe rituals, to talk about ceremonies, to talk about sacrificing animals? How do those children know?
Nightmares, imagining it?
You can't imagine those things at 3 and 4 years old. And you also don't have the evidence of anal sex abuse and oral sex abuse and all that other abuse that clearly those children have experienced and endured.
During these ceremonies, was Satan, the devil, ever referred to?
He was called Lucifer.
What did they say about the devil, about Lucifer?
That killing the people made him happy.
Sacrifices to please the devil.
To talk about
According to Teresa, the worst rituals took place at a house somewhere in the country.
it was big, expensive. From the front, it looked like a castle. It had a long drive and big double wooden doors.
Do you think they were rich people then?
Very rich.
Teresa was always drugged, or on a couple of occasions she says she was knocked out, so that she never fully knew the route.
There was a tramp who was brought in once, and he was killed. He was cut from his throat down to his stomach, and they ate him, or bits of him.
They killed a man at a ceremony
Yeah,
in front of you?
yeah, in front of all of us.
Did the tramp, did this man fight back?
No, I think he was, drunk or something. He seemed really dopey. He was laughing a lot when he was brought in. He started screaming when they began to cut. But after a while, he died. I'd seen a few killings before then. Although I wasn't used to it, that was the worst one. I really don't know what I thought. I suppose I thought, thank God it's not me.
Let me get this right now. Are you saying that you saw more than one person killed in that house?
Yeah. I've seen loads of babies killed there, just newborn babies, or aborted ones which were only small. 4-year-olds. Any age, really.
Did they ever say they might kill you?
They threatened to kill my little girl, who, when I left, was still at the house.
A friend?
Huh?
What little girl?
My little girl, Alex. She's about 4 now.
You mean you had a child?
Yeah.
How old were you when you had that child?
11.
Motherhood at the age of 11.
Never taught.
Wide awake while the world is sound asleep, and too afraid of what might show up while you're dreaming. Nobody sees you. Nobody will believe you. And every day you try to pick up all the pieces, all the memories that somehow never leave you. Nobody sees you. Nobody will believe you. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. 'Cause there's a kind of love that God only knows. There's a kind of love. There's a kind of love. You keep a cover over every single secret, so afraid if someone saw them they would leave. But somebody sees you. Somebody will never leave you. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. 'Cause there's a kind of love that God only knows. There's a kind of love. There's a kind of love. God only knows. There's a kind of love. There's a kind of love. For the lonely, for the ashamed, the misunderstood and the ones to blame. What if we could start over? We could start over. We could start over. Oh, for the lonely, for the ashamed, the misunderstood and the ones to blame. What if we could start over? We could start over. We could start over. 'Cause there's a kind of love